So, I've heard someone say one time, everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change a diaper. It's like, can we
change
be
the toilet paper?
Right. Can we be faithful in the small things? And I think that's what turns into those habits, the small things. Because if not, we have these big giant goals, which are super impressive, but they're not possible to maintain a lot of times. Or then we swing to the other extreme and we're doing nothing. It's like there's something beautiful in the middle, the moderation of the faithfulness and the unimpressive daily things that turn into habits.
I was speaking with one of my friends that works primarily in addiction, and she said it's 5 years before your brain is completely healed. And she gave the image of you're cutting through a wheat field and you have a machete, and there's one way that you always go. It's you have this argument with your friends. This makes you feel this way, and you go straight to whatever it is. And we've talked about thoughts, about substances, whatever. But whenever you're actively trying to change, it's like you have a machete and you're going through a wheat field and you're trying to cut a new path in your brain, and that can take years. And some people, that's like scary. It's like, oh no, like that's going to take forever. But we talked about this in the other episodes. It gets easier, but it's important to start. And realizing it's going to be so easy to go back to whatever the other pathways were. But I heard it said this way, Satan is subtle. And just realizing the habits may not be in and of themselves sinful, but it could be something that's keeping you from God's best. And so just forging those new pathways, not telling everyone what you're trying to do, but tell those people that have wisdom and can speak God's truth to you, and setting up any kind of accountability that you need. And of course, realizing that there's grace. But a lot of people, I would think most of us, have things that we need to forge new pathways through.
And isn't it more about developing a good habit rather than trying to undo the bad one? Because I know for me, if somebody says, if I just say to myself, I got to stop this, I'm not going to go anywhere with it. But if I say I can start this, then I'm going to start moving into the right direction. And I know for me, with my reactionary thing, I thought before I even got out of bed, I would say, Holy Spirit, put a watch over my mouth. I'm going to be quick to listen, slow to wrath, and I'm gonna just be very slow to speak, and step back, because I knew that that would be my action. That was the counteraction to just reacting. And I think a lot of people out there, they want to know, you just said 3 to 5 years. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to get out of it. But isn't there a step they can take? Because sometimes it's just one step.
Yes. Well, and that's actually the 3 to 5 year idea, is that you don't even have to think about it anymore. That's just something you don't do. That's something you don't think about. Eating disorders, we see that. We're talking about those habits that really, really just starve your brain and your soul. But of course, it doesn't have to take that long. But you're talking about replacement habits. So yes, it's like, hey, everyone, don't think of a pink elephant. We're all thinking of a pink elephant. So replacing that behavior, replacing it with, I'm going to think about fill in the blank, and changing it.
Or take out trigger points, right? Like if there's triggers and there's triggers, avoid those triggers.
Yeah.
Avoid those situations, that would cause you to react like that.
I think one of the things that's helped me too is anticipating the reward of that new habit that I'm trying to do, like you're saying, Lisa, because we often focus on the negative. So whether that's working out, waking up earlier, biting our tongue, whatever it is, we focus on what we're going to have to give up, how it's going to be so hard, the sacrifice. So let's use working out as an example, just because it's easy and tangible. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to wake up early. I'm going to be so tired. I don't have any workout clothes. I'm going to have to drive in the gym, and it's cold outside, and there's not a parking spot, and I'll never get a treadmill. We go through this long list of hard things about this habit, right? So instead, just a small kind of mind trick that you can do, instead of anticipating the sacrifice and why it's so hard to do this new habit, whatever that may be, anticipate the reward. Oh, I'm going to feel so good afterwards. I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to start the day with energy. I'm going to have more time to myself if I wake up in the morning and do my quiet time. I'm going to have peace if I don't bite back at that person, or whatever that habit is for you that you're thinking about. If we anticipate the reward and the benefits to that thing, because there are benefits, which is why we're doing it in the first place, one of the reasons, then it makes it a little bit easier to set our mind toward it and to want to follow through with the difficulty of the wheat field, like Julia is saying. It's hard to make change, but it makes it a little bit easier if you think on what that change is for and all the benefits of it.
It's part of that replacing, isn't it? You know, you're changing that. You're changing your perspective on it. And if you do it long enough, like Julia said, it becomes more, it's the signals in your brain go, yes, those pleasure points. Yes, this is true. This, you know, and we don't have to talk ourselves in it as much. We're more convinced that it is true, you know? So I love that. And that's the whole thing. Lay your clothes out when you get up. Do those things to make it easier on you too.
What I have found in my faith walk, it's not that it's always easy. It can sometimes be very, very difficult, but it gets easier the more you do it because you know that God is faithful. So if you have a habit of procrastinating or ignoring God's call or maybe being lazy or talking yourselves out of things, if God's calling you to do something and you obey, and then you obey next time and you obey next time, obedience becomes easier. It becomes a habit where the next time God calls, you still don't know how it's going to turn out. And it's still scary, but you can go, you know what? I obeyed before and God was faithful. I can obey again. So the things we're talking about don't just have to be with working out or quiet times or not eating sugar. This could be in obedience. This could be in some of the spiritual disciplines that truly become habit.
Mark Batterson has a great book, Win the Day, about this. And the first chapter is do it for a day. Just do it for a day because it gets easier. So I've found that to be helpful is just putting a time limit on it. Because sometimes if you're like, well, I have to do this forever, to say no, but for the next 24 hours. And then, you know, you just kind of go on from there. But it makes it a goal that you can meet.
But I think a lot of times we can glamorize the big, impressive things. Oh, I ran a full marathon. No one's posting, I did a 1-mile walk today. Right? And
I am.
I would definitely.
It's in those baby steps. It's in the like, I was faithful today. I was faithful with this habit, this quiet time, this thing that God put in front of me today. And it might not seem big and impressive that turns into something that gets applause or likes on Facebook, but it's the obedience and the faithfulness in the small things that turns into those habits that over time actually is really impressive. The faithfulness. You know, I've heard someone say one time, everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change a diaper. It's like, can we
change
be
the toilet paper?
Right. Can we be faithful in the small things? And I think that that's what turns into those habits, the small things. Because if not, we have these big giant goals, which are super impressive, but they're not possible to maintain a lot of times. Or then we swing to the other extreme and we're doing nothing. It's like there's something beautiful in the middle, the moderation of the faithfulness and the unimpressive daily things that turn into habits.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
And it's because of you that partner with us that this ministry continues. God bless you.